What is up, everybody? I clearly need. Oh, there we go. Got this resized. So back again with Party Size Cycling, aka Andrew, aka Physical Bike Shop Party Size Cycling. So, oh, is that something people say now? Ah, yeah, right here. Oh, are they? Are the people who are doing that like serious about being customers, or?
Yeah, so just like chopping it up with some strangers, which is exciting. And I haven't even activated really the marketing, so it's just being on our location is lending itself now to just people showing up. And I think our hours are at a time where other bike shops are closed. So if somebody was like, "Oh, my regular bike shop is closed, where can I go get something on Sunday?" We're starting to see that like Google traffic
Ah,
roll in, things like that. I push the Google reviews, which is supposed to help jump you up those rankings as well. Um, yeah, so like we've been just getting random poke.
nice. That's what you. Yeah, because
I
you.
mean, we need that.
Yeah, you know you're gonna have your friends. Like you already count.
Oh,
Like
they're saying I'm almost silent.
I
Let me.
got it fixed. Yeah, so they're already it's corrected. So yeah.
I wasn't sure if it was the hat mic placement, which
No, I forgot that I'm using the much louder mic, and I had you turned down too low when we started streaming. So
yeah.
it should be all good now. But let me know if you guys. I think Andrew, I could see what his bounced, but let me know if you need me to turn mine down. So.
At Dave Bloor became a member.
That's good. And I'm not trying to be cool with this little placement here. It's just like I think it's the only thing that really works. Clipping to the shirt wasn't cutting it. It would get all like, and I would tend to like go like this a lot. So
That was I've watched Terry B do that where he clips the when he's doing certain things, clips the mic on his cap, and I'm like, oh, that makes or even in his helmet, I'm like, oh, that makes total sense. Yeah.
yeah. So
So
apologies to
you also have an official grand opening date on the.
yes, June 14th. We're going to do the grand opening. Obviously, we're open and we've been doing pretty good business, but like that's more of just like a party. So we're gonna have some bands play. We're gonna be doing some food and drink and beverage. I'm gonna try to get prizes and things like that from some of our vendors to give away. I have to follow up on it, but I believe we have a lot signed Lachlan Morton cycling cap coming.
Oh, no
Uh,
way.
yeah, we have been ordering he and Rachel's coffee company's coffee to stock in the store.
Oh yeah, I've drank their I've had theirs on some bike tours before. Yeah. Oh, you coming up, bud? Come on up. Cat. Cat joining the stream.
Hey, what's up, Edmund?
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah. Oh, Aaron was actually. That's funny you said that. Aaron was actually looking to see if you had it on your website.
I don't yet.
Yeah.
I will shortly. I'm in the process of moving all of my Shopify over to the Lightspeed one,
Hmm.
and I'm almost ready to hit the go button on that probably by the end of this week. And then at that point, I'll be able to start shipping more stuff that we have in stock other than like the apparel.
Yeah, she was.
Selected. I'm not
She
just gonna like open up the whole shop.
Yeah, she didn't end up coming up to the Handmade Bike Show. She was helping her dad with stuff, and then that kind of just drained her. Like, he's fine, but he has like all these. He has issues that he's getting caught up from COVID because he was he couldn't go out. So they're doing everything that needs to be done, like the eye doctor and all this stuff. And
Sure.
so, she's the only one around to help out. And so she was like, I'm not going to drive out there. But that week before, she was like, I'm going to check and see if Party Size has this on his site because it's so much better than what we got last time. And I think she was like, oh, it's not on there, but when it gets up there, we'll order it for our summer trip. So, yeah.
I can just make it happen
Yeah.
for you guys. We do. I can if you need something that you've seen that I have. I'm happy to just call me and I can. For anybody watching, if you see anything on the posting, I'm happy to one-off just do that. It's just like I'm not ready to necessarily just open myself up to the internet yet, just because I need to I need to nail down obviously I know all the technological stuff, but like packing t-shirts, and you know this, packing t-shirts is easy because you're not putting in a box, you don't have to deal with dimensions. It's just way easier to ship. As soon as I have to put something in a rigid box, that can get out of control real fast. So I need to figure out, I just need to literally look up what the strategy for that is and figure it out. So that'll be, if I get the site moved over, the apparel, at least what I'm currently selling moved over, and then it'll just slowly but surely come online.
Is that because you can't automate it as much? Because with a number of shirts, you have your program doing the weight and everything, and it's what they call.
It's all that matters in a soft pack. It's when you have a rigid box, then you have the I guess it's the it's the volume basically. Is how things get charged. There's oversized stuff, right? It's gonna be a while before I figure out how to ship handlebars. I don't have I also only have one size box on hand, right? So I need to figure all that. Which this is I will figure it out. This is what I'm good at, right? So it's just a matter of time. But it just
Pudgy Pedal Pusher became a member. Pudgy Pedal Pusher celebrates 63 months of membership. Shout out to everyone at the Great Lakes Bike Show.
But how was the Great Lakes Bike Show, by the way? You buried the lead there.
Yeah, it's funny because Pudgy just came through with his membership chat on that point. But yeah, it was really cool. Couple really great makers out there, and also really cool other products. The gravel ride we did in the morning was fantastic, and they had a 14 and I think it was 26, the other one, so neither were crazy, so both were really good rides. And that part of Michigan, so it's about, I guess, a 25-minute, half-hour northwest of Ann Arbor, which is where it used to be, is a little more forested too. So when you ride around Ann Arbor, it's nice, but it's a little more open, rolly open gravel roads. This had a little bit more wooded, roads and stuff. So, which I just thought was kind of cool, a little change of pace too. And goes right by the mountain bike trails that I really, really love. So yeah, just it was a great ride. And then the show had much more room, and it was at a place called Aberdeen or I think it was just Aberdeen Bicycle Shop or something, but it's Aberdeen either way. But it's a big space, and so it was always really tight when it was in Ann Arbor at Sick Transit, and you felt like if you stopped to talk to someone, that you were holding up any chance they had a business. You know what I mean? And now with the bigger space, you didn't feel as bad. You felt more like a farmer's market atmosphere. You know what I mean? Where you could talk to someone, then someone could still walk up to the table, and then you could be like, oh, if you need to deal with this customer type thing, do it. So it was, much better. And then this bike shop and Pudgy told me this, so the owner must have told this story, but had someone come up and be like, hey, I have this vintage bike collection. Do you think it'd be cool if I displayed it here? And I guess the guy was thinking oh, this guy's going to throw some crappy aluminum bikes at me. Let's see what you got. And then showed up with vintage high wheelers from the 1800s and race bikes. So the walls and little displays, because the place is big, has all these super cool bikes to look at. Race jerseys hanging from the ceiling. Just, I mean, bike nerd, heaven, totally, this bike shop. And then obviously I don't get to see what it looks like, how it normally would be, but so not only is it awesome with all this cool bike show stuff, but the bike shop itself is almost part museum. So,
and that's Aberdeen Bike Shop.
Aberdeen, yeah, in Chelsea, Michigan.
Oh, you know what? That's funny. I started following that account because it started getting popping up in my feed. I'm guessing because of this. There's an Aberdeen in New Jersey, so it's oh, I didn't realize there's a bike shop down there. So that makes more sense. Why that was coming across my feed, but. Anyway, yes, I follow them. They do. That is a big space. I was how are they getting that? New Jersey is not known for our cheap spacious
Yeah.
places to rent, and that are at least like anywhere where people want to go. So
And I'm guessing that they can be such a big space in such a small town. Like one, there's great mountain bike trails around there, but two, you are close enough to Ann Arbor and still close enough to Detroit that I'm guessing they're even a destination from Detroit. Detroit has a couple good bike shops, but again, you're talking again higher rent for most. Like the one I've
sure.
been to is in a very cool, like the hip part of town.
Hmm.
It's much smaller than this, so I'm guessing that they still get people who come out from the whole region, and
Yeah.
so yeah, very cool. It was a great time. And then I also did a bunch of mountain biking with Dylan from Columbus on Saturday, and then me and Brad and Frank Lugs Not Drugs and Brian Yellowbird, we did Ann Arbor Bike Party on Friday. So just a great weekend of completely different kind of riding and but a lot of
Yeah.
hanging out with people. So
That's cool. I'm wearing my my Lugs Not Drugs hat
oh
right
yeah,
now.
Bradley just commented on your shirt too.
Foundation did he? Foundation rules.
Yeah, Bradley Cordora. Yeah,
Okay, that Bradley. Yes, that makes a lot of sense.
yeah.
But I saw Pudgy talked about making handlebars with bike boxes. Fortunately, we don't have a lot of those because we're not
Oh, you didn't
doing.
used.
So these don't come with boxes, unfortunately. Actually, fortunately, because I have no way to recycle cardboard, so I have to once a week, cart it all back to my house and put it in my personal recycling. Or I'd have to drive it out to a transfer station. So this is a little bit better than that option. So yeah, I would be swimming in cardboard if I had bike boxes. And we're really, I can't overstate how small our space is. It's really, we had a little bit of a rush where like a couple people couldn't pick up bikes that they brought in, and we had some bikes that we were still sort of like moving through, getting ready, that hadn't sold yet, and like all of a sudden it was like, we got nowhere to put these bikes. Shoving them in corners. There was one in the bathroom. There was like we're just, yeah. So I have a solution for it. We just haven't had a day where we can hang. I got these like things that like we can hang them vertically on the wall around this one corner, and that'll create space for like an extra 10 bikes. Should solve the problem, but until then, it's tight.
Yeah, so Dirty River actually, I think it started during the pandemic. They got a shipping container for like extra bikes. They have a basement, but it's an old garage, so the basement is a half height. You have to be on like
Yeah.
a rolling chair down there because it was made to go underneath the pit. Like they didn't have like lifts for the cars. You went underneath and stood up through the hole. You know what I mean? So you don't want to be like hauling bikes in and out of that half like thing. So they got a shipping container, but they also have a cardboard dumpster because they are a new bike shop. So they sell new bikes. So they actually do need a dedicated cardboard dumpster with like that kind of business. So
Yeah, I could imagine. I foresee a storage container type situation in our future. I just have to pick a good day with the landlord, I think. So if I did that, it would be taking up, and there's no back to it. Like we're on the lower level, which faces out, and then so we are on the lower level. We face that way. The upper level faces out that way. There is no back of the plaza. Like
no alley or anything.
No, so we got nothing. So if I did that, it would be taking up space from some of the other places, right? So I'd have to probably pay for that or work something out. So we'll figure it out. Like I said, we're making do, and if we get to that point which we will, I'm confident. But when we get to that point where we're like, okay, we're doing so much business we can't handle it. The place next door is vacant, so we could work out some deal to take that over and do that over the winter if we can. We just can't make it work, but I want to try to see if we can make this work because it keeps expenses low, frankly.
Yeah.
And like we're able to, hopefully they're coming in, they're going out. So
Yeah, and a good idea. I mean, again, like I was talking to you before I went on about my business, the gap between like running it by myself and being busy enough to have an employee. It seems like a gulf, but I do feel like if you were to the point where you're like, we need more space, that would be not that as much of an issue.
Rent isn't what's going to prevent, like, you know what I mean? Like that'll be fine because, again, rent is only a piece of it. You know what I mean? It would take in a bunch of cash still because like the build out, right, would be probably what would be prohibitive. But that's like a one-time-ish cost. So
Yeah. And also, if it really is just space, you don't have to build it out right away. If you just need to put stuff in there, it doesn't need to be the visible, it doesn't need to be the counter, it doesn't need to be the mechanic stand. It could be like bikes just need to be in here, you know. So,
yeah.
So,
yep. So there's lots of options. That's what, one of the reasons why I took this place, because there's flexibility, and frankly, the rent is pretty inexpensive as is. So, I forget where we were going with that, but the cutting the boxes. Yeah. So we don't have
boxes. Yeah.
But we'll eventually figure it out.
Someone asked a question that is totally off topic, but Randy asked, "What's your thought on titanium drop bars?"
Oh,
and I have one of the few that are made, which are the Carver, and they don't sell them anymore. And the reason they don't sell them anymore is because I broke the first set because titanium is very hard to bend in very specific shapes, and so they basically had put a bunch of pie cuts in it and then welded it into the drop shape. Because we put Yonda, the mechanic who used to work at Dirty River, put one of those little cameras down, and we're like, oh, that's crazy. And so, like, yeah, I broke them, but I like them so much that I actually went online when I got my warranty money and bought the last set they ever made, and I'm running them still. But I think there's one or two other companies that makes titanium drops, but they're segmented. They're like, you could tell they're different pieces. So
got it.
they're nice because they do have a lot of suspension built into them and stuff like that. But yeah, it's just they're not affordable. I think even mine are $350 bars, and they're just not practical. Yeah. So I think they're great if someone figures out a better way to do it. But
if I had to bet, if that ever does take off, it's going to be because somebody does like a metal 3D printing situation, so they can create it without having to bend it. Yeah. And I don't even know if that's possible with titanium. I'm just thinking like that's the only way I could think of.
Yeah, there's a 3D there's a 3D titanium or 3D printed titanium bike at Made, so it's definitely possible. But what's the cost? You know,
right? No, exactly. Yeah, the flexibility, and frankly, like what's not that heavy of a component. You know what I mean? So it's one of those things where, yeah, I don't know.
It's not practical.
I haven't tried it. I don't think it's ever going to take off though, but.
Yeah,
Carbon or tie seat post, though, I feel like is a very nice upgrade. I am very happy with the Bingham built tie seat post that I got, especially with the flex, and it has like this like kind of curved setback to it, so it creates like a little bit of a flyleaf effect. So it really just feels really nice going over a small chunk.
I was running one or riding one. So speaking of the Handmade Bike Show, STS was up there again, and I had been riding one of their bikes in a number of my videos. They came and picked it up so they could have it at the show, but Otis switched out the seat post they had on there for a titanium seat post, and yeah, it's nice. And it was a titanium seat post with a setback, so maybe it's even the same one. I don't know I didn't see any branding on it, but yeah, it was
That one's pretty unique because it has where the saddle interacts with it. It's like it looks like these two metal anodized things, and so if you put a 5 mil in, interacts with one mechanism, and that then lets you adjust the tilt.
That's different.
Separately, you put 6 mil in, it bottoms out on the cap, and then the cap loose lets you slide it fore and aft, so you can actually dial those in independently, which is really nice for getting it fit and set. And it stays put pretty well. It's like, but they bend it back, and then it looks like that. So it just like, especially with the Thai bike, it almost looks like an extension of the seat tube, just like continues to it. Aesthetically, it's very good. It feels really good, and also like that. So Bingham built seat posts are real nice in my opinion.
Yeah, they're talking about this company Bitchin'. That might be the company that was at Made who had it, but it was kind of like a lugged titanium drop bar, if I remember correctly. It wasn't like a continuous, which again, that's fine. I mean, but And again, that depends too on, is it going to affect the way your bar tape wraps and all that stuff. That's why mine are so cool. And they also have my favorite. I bought them because of the shape more than the titanium the second time.
Mhm.
They flare after the drops. So like they come
Oh,
down
okay.
and then flare, so they don't. And you know, and Ronnie talks about this too, Ronnie Romance, that he
Mhm.
likes flared drops, but he hates the crooked levers, and that's what I hate. And so like,
Uh,
and not for the handling, like, and again, like I'm usually not an aesthetic nerd, but I hate seeing the levers like that. And so my levers are still straight, but
mm.
when I hold the ends of the drops, I'm not rubbing on the, you know,
Yeah, yeah.
parts like that. So that's what they're so cool
Well,
for.
that
Yeah.
makes sense.
Yeah.
Cardboard is burning material. You don't live in New Jersey. It's not how to burn things.
When me and Dave started at the farm we worked at, uh,
Mhm.
this might be before you were there, Dave. Yeah, they had a property across the river, and it was still like it was when things were transitioning from old school to new school, and all the boxes we just took a
Burn 'em.
truckload and burned them across the river, and then like that property they ended up, it was like their cousins who then like made it like a whatever, like one of those 100-year whatever, like land conservancy things, and
Sure.
couldn't go over there anymore, and so we ended up buying a cardboard, crusher or whatever, and crushing them, and people pay you to, you don't have to pay for those because I think people pay to take that stuff away from you and all that. But yeah, I still remember the days of just tons and tons of boxes in this giant flaming pile. Like,
Probably great in the winter.
yeah, but we didn't sell produce in the winter. It was a farm market.
That's fair.
It was like 85
This is too
degrees.
hot.
Yeah.
Too hot. This is great.
Yeah. It's funny because people collect the labels that used to be on like the more like wooden based like cartons that are worth a ton of money. And the owner of the farm had told me and Dave, he was like, I'd be a millionaire. He was like, we used to just burn those too. He was like,
Mm.
but then again, that's why they're valuable because everyone burned them and no one saved them. So the ones that survived have a ton of
Yeah.
value. Yeah. So like baseball cards, kids used to stick them in their spokes, and that's why those, you know, anything mint is valuable. But yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of titanium, though, I came across some interesting. We have three of these now because I bought two bikes from a guy that had it, and then he just gave me another one. The Scott ST3 handlebars from the 90s, which are basically a straight bar, and then instead of putting bar ends in it, it just has like a curved thing that comes out like this. So it's basically just like a
Oh
big.
yeah, I've seen those.
Um, we have three of them, and they're titanium, and like we're taking them off of these bikes because we're just trying to make them normalized bikes right now. But like I gotta kind of feel like I need to do something with these, so I need to come up with some creative way to use them or to, I don't know, we'll see,
Yeah.
come up with something. But
Yeah. Save them for down the road. Yeah, that's cool.
yeah, they and with the soft stem, what do they call them? I was very particular, but it had these old rock hoppers, and it's this like stem with like they're so heavy, but it's a quill stem with this like giant block that's a visible spring in it and like a
Oh
parallelogram in it.
yeah.
So and like a very old similar like the Thudbuster seat post type of thing, but it's like elastomer on the seat post. So it like boing, boing, boing.
Yeah.
But yeah, he had all these rigid mountain bikes, and so I was like, yeah, this is perfect, And but yeah, we have all this stuff now. It's kind of fun. Be like, all right, well, we got to do something with this.
Yeah, and also just like, yeah, I know you said the space is small, but some of that stuff is the kind of stuff that goes pretty cool, like high up on the wall or something,
Yeah,
until.
I got to figure out. We still haven't really decorated the walls yet. I got to figure out where we're putting bikes on the wall and then fill in around it. But that's it. The shock stem. Thank you, Pudgy.
Curving. Oh, yeah. I think we've looked up photos of those on the streams and yeah, years past or we were just looking at mountain bikes, and yeah, I could picture that thing. It's crazy. Yeah.
Super soft. Oh, the Thudbuster is the last one. Right. Well, then it's one
Yeah.
of it's like the early one of those from the 90s or whatever.
Gervin. Yeah.
Yeah. We also got a cool. Somebody brought by a interesting frame. It's painted with the Serrata logo,
Huh.
but he just gave it to us, and then but also it was like, but he thinks it's a Fat Chance
Huh.
because of the way that the dropouts are and other stuff. He's like, has like Chris Chance all over it, but he knows his friend used to like paint all his bikes and do weird stuff to them, and he got it from his friend, and like because the dropout was like turned in on itself, and he's a metal worker, so he like redid the dropouts. But like he has no use for it, so he just gave it to us. It's cool. I put it in the window, so like we have a nice Serrata frame in the
Yeah.
nice. We have a Serrata frame in the window.
Yeah, they're
But
all nice.
he's explaining to me, I'm like, this is crazy. And look, I haven't been able to find anything definitively about it, but it's a weird one for sure.
So it's funny because right before you started that story, Pudgy said, Andrew, if you get stumped on IDing anything, send me a pic. So, yeah, when it comes to the mountain bike stuff, he's definitely like someone who
Yeah,
is good to reach out to. So,
I'll do. But
oh,
yeah, so far everything's been pretty. We haven't got any crazy frames in. We got some that you don't see very often. Like we got some John Tomac, not the signature ones, which are the really sought after ones, but like the John Tomac specials, which are kind of an interesting like lugged 90s mountain bike. They were we did I think we did a pretty good job like touching them up. These were bikes that were like really ridden as mountain bikes, so they're in the just the paint's in rough shape, but we did some cool stuff to kind of revitalize them. And proud of those. So hopefully they go to some good homes.
are you doing a lot of like that? Are people pretty interested in like you thought with your theory of the get around bike? Is that what you're
Yeah,
able to?
so far we've had a good mix. We sold just like a couple like dual sports have been a popular one, but we've also sold like really nice but like patinaed for sure. Like it's seen use. This like neon antelope that somebody bought because it was a cool mountain bike. But we haven't got a lot of like old mountain bike collector guys in yet, or
Yeah.
anything like that. I have a line on somebody that has some of those that he's willing to do on consignment, but I just don't think that's our folks yet. The plan is working. We've been selling about a bike a day, and a lot of it is to people that are just like, I want to get a bike to ride on the Columbia Trail. And
Oh, nice.
and they're better than Walmart bikes. They're not as good as that. You know, we're using the term "used bikes made new" is like the tagline I've been using.
Oh, nice.
And that seems like you get the point across. And we're doing a year of free adjustments. And I'm including like stem swaps or saddle swaps if it's we have just a giant box of saddles that are just like pull offs or just like random stuff. So as long as it's coming off of those, I'm happy to switch them out for people because like the other person was like, oh, well, I like usually adjustments just means like cables or like shifting and stuff like that. But I'm like, you know why? Because I want the people to ride them. Because if they ride them, then they're gonna like be back to buy accessories for them, or they're gonna be back to get them serviced, right? So I'd rather people like the bike they got from us than be uncomfortable and not ride it as much. You know what I mean? So like trying to take a long
100%.
view on that type of stuff, and it's simple enough that I can do it. I don't need to take him off of like a paid labor job to do it. So
Nice. Yeah, it's interesting. Have you come across any of the? Because my Team Marin came with stuff that was so light that like the saddle was actually broke, which I didn't realize. It's like so light, and then the bars, which they feel like you're holding nothing. Like everyone else told me, those are probably actually kind of sketchy. So like it's because there is like that also era in like the mid '90s where it's like, how were they selling this as something that you would be riding down like the mountain bike trails that existed at the time, you know?
no, nothing too sketchy. Everything's been pretty stuff we see a lot. We're doing, we're swapping out a decent amount of parts on stuff. It's like because like bars tend to get that for people flipping them upside down and like working on them upside down we're just like people that don't have a stand. You know what I mean? So they get a lot of like the black comes off the bar at the top and the shifters and gets worn down, and we'll take it off if it's not too bad, but at some point it gets to the point. I am inundated with bars right now. We have 3 bins of them, so we're usually just kind of swapping those out to new ones, so the bars haven't been an issue. Like I said, the saddles, pretty much most of the saddles that we're getting in on bikes are torn or have something, so we're having to swap out a lot. that type of stuff, and pedals on everything is pretty much like a guaranteed. Needs pedals and grips. So that those types of things. Tires have been 50-50. The tricky part that we've been trying to figure out is like to judge the bike and be like, who's going to want this? Are they going to want slick tires? Or are they going to want knobbies? And we'll swap them out if somebody says the other thing. But, we have okay tires that we got a good deal on, and in both. So it's more just like guessing. Like, this feels like somebody that's going to want to maybe like ride it off road, or like one of us that was going to want some knobby ones. We'll put some knobby ones on there. Like, it's more of a Columbia Trail one build. We're going to like do this for with like some semi-slick type of things.
It's funny because bars have become like one of those things that are so dated. Because I have boxes of bars here, and I would give them to you, but it'd be the same thing. They'd be bars you wouldn't use. Like, they're narrow drops and narrow mountain bike bars. They're the two things nobody wants anymore. It's like unless you're building a historically accurate bike, they're just vintage bars are not like, they have no place. Nobody wants narrow drops and no one wants narrow flat bars. Like, they're kind of worthless, So
I mean, to some extent, as long as the paint is okay, we're sort of okay with putting that on there. And then we have bars in the shop to upgrade to. So we've gotten, I'm buying parts from people as well, right? So we've had a bunch of people that are like, they'll bring in a box. I'll just give them a price in the box and stuff. So we end up with like some nice stuff. Like, we've had towel rack bars and some Ron Ortho bars and like stuff like that coming through, and some other things. So, and I had, just from my collection, like magic components stuff and some things. So, like, we have that out on the floor. So if somebody is like, oh, this really isn't, like, well, you could upgrade it to this, and we can swap everything over for you. So it's just like we sort of have a starting point that we put out there that's like, we're just calling it NAB, normal ass bike. So like, normal ass bike goes on the floor. And then when the person comes in, we will then like, I'm not going to charge them necessarily full price for the bar if we're swapping it out for something, if it's, what I mean? So it's like, well, we can upgrade this, right? And like figure out a price that makes sense for the person, sort of just like kind of make it work so we can get them, what they want.
So,
but people have been happy with, I think, what they've gotten. I need to do some follow-up phone calls next week and be like, hey, how's the bike going? And get some feedback on it before we keep doing it. But
yeah, Steven asked, you got any tandems in the shop?
I was close to buying one. If somebody came through with like a Deja 2 or there's a couple ones that I would buy in a heartbeat, but I just don't have room.
They're too long.
And they'll sit for too long. That's the other problem too.
Tandems, yeah.
Because the thing, some of the stuff that comes in, I'm like, yes, this is like there'll be, I'll come across a really nice old road bike, and I'm like, yeah, like a Le Mans or something like that. That'll like, yeah, this is cool, and like somebody will want this, but it's gonna sit for a little too long. That I'm not going to take it, even if it is a good deal at this point, because I just know that like that's not. Maybe we will at some point, but right now it's a lot of just NABs. That's what people want. We're actually selling a lot of step throughs.
Oh, really?
Very versatile size-wise, because if somebody comes in and they're a little bit too small for what the frame was intended for, they can still fit on it. And if they're a little too, like, you know what I mean? So, like, it's been filling that gap for some of the smaller riders that are coming in. The step through has been comfortable for them. So
I like to know, too, that means that stigma is kind of going away, because the whole world rides step throughs, but in the U.S. they've always been considered girls' bikes. So they're not girls' bikes. But it's been
To be fair, they both were women.
Yeah.
But yeah, we've been. Yeah, I don't know. It's hard to explain. It's just, people come in and gravitate towards something, and then we make it work. People seem to be happy though, because like one person came in and they had been to REI that morning, had ridden a bike. It was like $900, something like that. They came in, and then we had something, and that was $500, and they were like, "This is just as good. I'm just gonna buy this." Like, yeah. So, and like like I said, we'll take care of all that other stuff for you, and and you're buying from a small business. So, we found that people are really receptive to the idea so far.
Cool. I see that two different things. Sam first said, "What do you mean everyone used narrow bars at Unbound?" So, but I also do have to tell Sam that Brad wants you to know that he won the Great Lakes Handmade Bike Show gravel ride. He did come across the line first, so and he knew you would appreciate that. That was one of the first things he said to me. He was like, I can't wait to tell Sam that I won the Great Lakes Handmade Bike Show. So, but then Illicit Feedback asked, what's your average price point on used bikes?
I would say our default is for like a 90s mountain bike, which is a lot of what we have, is 400. If it's like more of a newer hybrid, we've been going, depending on the condition, 5 to 6. And then we have like a Surly Crosscheck for like 8 on the floor right now. That hasn't sold yet though. And we sold a Breezer Inversion Team, which is ridiculously very underrated bike. That bike is absolutely sick. Picked it up and like was amazed that it's a steel bike with a carbon fork, but still it's like so light. And like that was like 900. I think that's the. And then we did like a Salsa Timberjack for 1,500. So those are the price points that we've sold bikes at so far. But like our sort of like $100 marketplace find that we're able to come in, put an hour and a half of work into it and swap out some of the commonly replaceable parts, some grips, some surprisingly a lot of the housing is okay.
Nice.
But like grips and some tires and stuff like that, and like those are typically going to go out the door at 400.
Yeah, because that's
happy to pay it.
That's one of the problems with like 70s road bikes. Speaking of, like someone just brought up Falcon, which are British bikes. But if you buy 70s road bikes, you need to do the tires, the housings, and everything. Probably the saddle, like you were saying, even if you're going to keep the bars and all that. By the time you do that, like there's like no meat on the bone. Like with that stuff, you need to be doing it for yourself to ride it.
Customer, we don't do like we haven't gotten a lot of road bike customers, and we have done like hunted some down for some people that wanted it. We got a GTR for somebody that wants to do triathlons that we're building for them now. But what was I gonna say? But the thing is, like, people will come in and be like, "Oh, I had this old Peugeot. Can I make this a gravel bike?" That's the big question that we get, I would say. And I need to figure out a better way to answer that. But like, people bringing us old bikes and saying, "I want to make this a gravel bike." People bring us like a Trek Verve and saying, like, "Can I make this a gravel bike?" So like, that's permeated, I think, through normal culture, like for those people that aren't necessarily in bikes, right? And they just know that, like, I want to grow. And I had one person that I don't know if they watched it, no judgment if you are, but like they were like, "Oh, I want to turn my Trek Verve into a monster gravel." I'm like, that can only do like, monster gravel to me means, we're putting mountain bike tires on a bike, right? Like a drop bar bike. And I'm like, that would like, yes, I can do that, kind of. Not the tires, but like I can drop. But like it turns out he just wanted drop bars.
Oh,
like,
gotcha.
We can also do that, but again, like because of how many things you'd have to switch out, it would end up being.
Yep.
It's going to be what you paid for this bike. If you would like, we could probably trade that bike in for you and get you the bike you want, right? Like, so that's the way that we're kind of steering that conversation. We'll find somebody that does want a hybrid, and we'll get them a hybrid. We'll get you into, a 90s mountain bike that I can do a drop bar conversion on for you. Absolutely. Like I can get you a rock hopper with the drop bar easy.
Yeah.
Right. And like, it'll be cheaper than doing that to the bike you have. So that I would say is probably one of the most, not surprising, but like the most common sort of thing we're getting people bring to us that I wasn't necessarily prepared for.
I want to loop back on that thought because I have a couple more thoughts on that. But by the way, the guy who specifically asked about this asked specifically about Falcons, and I have a Barry Hoban, which is actually believed to be made by Falcon. So I do have experience with it, and it's an awesome bike, and it's just not something that is trendy. So it's a vintage road bike, and it's Reynolds 531 steel, and it originally had Campy components, and it cost me $75. So, but yeah, so I do have experience, and it's a great bike. But the other thing, and Yonda has brought this up when he's been on the channel with like the gravel conversion or people taking hybrids and turning them into like, one, obviously tire width is limited by chain stays 90% of the time, right? So when someone says that, it's like, we could see what kind of wide tire we could get on here, but there's just going to be a physical limitation at some point that
Right.
you can't. And you could drop down wheel size. That's something I've done many times. I'm looking at Peugeot on the wall that I went to, was made with 27-inch, not the 650B, but the old school 70s 27. And that will squeeze you up to like maybe 38 sometimes if you're lucky, 42 on a road bike, on a hybrid more. But so you can do that stuff. But the point Yond always makes is, as if you're doing that for yourself, you know what I mean? You're taking that specialized crossroads, you're going to turn it into a gravel bike, and you're just an individual, that's fine. But when you're a bike shop, then you have a responsibility to say, these frames are not made to be ridden off road. You know what I mean?
Right.
So when you're messing with 90s mountain bikes, they're mountain bikes. When you start messing with hybrids and road bikes to make them off road bikes, you're, as a bike shop owner, at some point you have to be like, this frame's not made to do that. Is a steel frame going to break? Probably not, but you are
Right.
crossing a threshold that goes beyond what the bike was designed for,
Yeah.
And as an individual, you don't have a responsibility to, that's your own safety you're messing with. But,
And so some people are saying like the Verve will fit. Yes, the Verve will fit bigger tires. To me, even a 2-inch or a 45 that's not a. Somebody tells me a monster gravel, I'm thinking we are putting 2.3, 2.4, 2.5-inch tires on a drop bar bike, right? Like to me, that is you're taking a mountain bike and you are turning it into a gravel bike, which I don't feel like the Verve falls into that category. Again, after asking some follow-up questions, because I'm not a jerk and just say no, I'm like, well, what like. Well, that's a big because the Verve was new, right? So it was like more like, how are you like what? How do we get from here to there, right?
Yeah.
What changed about? Well, it turns out the person bought the bike on clearance and it wasn't really into bikes, and now that he is, realized like, oh, I do want to take some cuts here and there, and I really like just so like some slightly larger tires and some others like the bike just wasn't the right bike. Or it wasn't even that he's got I think the person just like kind of got in their head. They got an idea of what they wanted, and like we're like ignoring some of the red flags of like, hey, there's an easier way to get to where you're trying to go, and we're just like, I have this, I want that.
Yeah.
That was more the point, and I think that was I'm learning as well how to deal with these scenarios, and these are things that I will normally sit there and agonize at a computer over, and when somebody's in front of you, you can't do that, right? Like it's that's the challenge too, is to try to like do this stuff on the spot without like sitting in front of a laptop at 2:00 in the morning when you can't sleep. Like I'm gonna figure out how to do this, right? So some of it's that stuff too. But I do. When we have people come in for stuff like that, my goal is to never just say no, is just to like explain the reality of the situation, right? Like not because there was a time when I was first getting into bikes and I had a folding bike. And the handlebars were too wide to fit between the seats on the train. So like when I would have to, and there was a point where the bikes had to be kept in this car, but then to get off the train platform didn't go back that far. So I had to walk like 3 cars forward every day. And I would have to sit there and like not hit people in the head. I'm like, hey, I want to put some like bull horns on this. I now know why they were like, you can't necessarily do that. But I was like, the answer wasn't, you could, but like here's the reason why. There was like no, like, well, why not? And they're like, can't. I'm like, okay, but like if somebody had like taken the time to explain to me, right, like the reality of that situation, I probably would have understood. And then if they had been explained anyway. I'm getting off topic, but it's
no. I think it's interesting when you own a shop how you feel different, because I've had the same experience just yesterday, where it's like everything I've ever done between YouTube, my early on photography blog, has always been based on the idea that I don't know everything. Like I don't try and come across as a complete expert. When I'm working my commercial job, I'm a problem solver. If someone wants something done, I'm going to figure out how to get it done. It's very different when someone walks up to your counter. Like the kid yesterday was talking about trying to shoot flash for like concerts. And I know that he shoots in smaller clubs where it'd actually be a little bit practical. But I learned to shoot photography like seriously by shooting bands, but I was already digital. So I was never having to meter or trying to figure out, like, and I was actually doing it with Dave a lot, like bouncing flashes off the ceiling. But you were able to look at the back of the camera and make the adjustments on the fly. And so this was one time where I'm like, I have to tell you, I've never shot film like that. I've never had to do those calculations, how to make flash. But I know like how to make a flash expose correctly for film when you can't see what your result is right away, you know?
Yeah.
But I did know
So
some.
what is the concept? Do you have a light meter and you do the flash without actually taking the picture and see what light?
That's what you would do in
back?
a studio. If you were taking like portraits, you would stand where the subject's going to be, and you would plug the PC sync into it. And I have this, and you would flash them. But if you're at a concert and you don't have time to do that, if you don't have access, that's not practical. There are calculators on the back of old flashes, which I've just never learned how to use because I never had to, you know. And so I told him that I like picked one of my old flashes that I have for sale up, and I'm like, that's what these things are for, and I'm not going to sit here and pretend off the cuff I know how to read this thing because I don't. Uh, but I was like, because he was saying there's nothing online about it. It's like use film that could get more light, you know, don't use a flash. And he's like, that's not the advice I want. And so I was just kind of telling him, I'm like, here's the basic advice. It's no different than shooting flash anywhere else. You know, you've got to test it, you know, and unfortunately with film, might cost you some money, but again, but when you want to know the answers when someone asks you these questions, that's why I sit there and like, I'm working most of the time, but then I'm also doing what you're doing probably is researching stuff because, you know, I need to know what the film stocks I'm selling do. I haven't shot every single film I own. I sell. That would not be practical, you know. So, and I had my favorites for years. So yeah, it is like a totally different thing to all of a sudden like be like someone standing there and you hate not to know the answer, but it's just way better to be like, let's think about this and let's talk about it because I haven't specifically ever done this before, right? So when someone, you know.
Luckily, and also, I think we've gone over this before. I'm not the mechanic, right?
Mm-hmm.
So at some point, the conversation goes to like, we need to involve Eric in this conversation.
Yeah,
because we're getting past my like, you know what I mean? Like I'm the conceptual person, but I'm not necessarily the person who is making this. I will not be the actual person doing this job, right? So like, let's bring in Eric and let's talk to Eric and let's see. It also helps to like, especially. You know me, so you know how much this pains me. Like every time I say something nice about a Trek bike, a little piece of me dies inside. But like this is a great bike. But Eric worked at a Trek. They weren't always a Trek dealer, but like he's worked at a company that for most of it was a Trek dealer since he was 15 years old, right? So like, dude has a wealth of knowledge about many generations of Trek products. So as we're going through this. Like he's an incredibly good resource of somebody that like knows the ins and outs of that brand. And unfortunately, that's especially in our area because we are so inundated with Trek dealers and not a lot of independents. There's like the used market is mostly Trek. I really try to seek out Raleighs and Specialized and Giants and other stuff just to get a better mix in there. But the reality is most of the bikes that are being sold are like it's a lot of 930s, a lot of like 800s, those types of bikes are what we're getting in a lot. 90s era of those bikes are pretty solid still, so I'm not
they are
really lying about it. And then we've had like the mid like 10-year-old dual sports and Verves and stuff like that. Not Verves because I don't think those were, but the dual sports from like that era are 2017ish. We're getting some of those that come through.
Yeah, that's the thing. Those 90s Treks, even the hybrids, I mean, that was like my first new bicycle. Like I think it was the 930. It was the one that had it was like a green to purple fade. I see it out there a lot. It was a popular bike. But
at that shop right now.
Yeah.
On your size, but I got it.
Yeah.
And then there's the Iguana that is almost the exact same fade from Giant.
Yeah.
It's one of those. I have one of those too. But yeah, anyway, well, let's see. Pro tip for working a bike shop. Alyssa always has good advice here. Bike shop, bring others into the conversation. Exactly. Yeah. Yep. We get there eventually.
Yeah, they always do that at Dirty River. Like, if someone doesn't know, like, if I go back to talk to Ben real quick for like 30 seconds, be like, hey, do you want to meet up tomorrow? Like, the counter guy will come back and be like, hey, what is this is a niche thing? What does this cost? And if Ben doesn't know the answer and Otis isn't there, it's like, we need to call Otis. You know, it's just like the way, you know. People understand that everybody isn't an expert at everything, you know.
we got a weird seat post collar that neither of us had seen that size before. And we're like, couldn't get it actually. So it was like, I don't know. I don't know. Never seen it. Even if I just Google it, even outside of our distributors, like I get I'm not coming up with anything. So this is just a weird size. Sorry, like I don't know that we're gonna be able to help you. But it's been fun. Like honestly, to talk about bike stuff all day and like to have people come through with projects, and the last couple of days have been steady. Anyway, we can talk about something else on the bike shop.
I mean,
it's one day.
No, but I mean, I do think it's an interesting topic, and even when you announced that you were starting this, I'm like, this is always going to be a great stream topic because everybody in this nerdy chat is interested in this stuff. Because a lot of us, like, I get to see a lot of it just because two of my best friends work in a bike shop, but a lot of people who ride bikes, like, you don't get to see that much. You know what I mean? So.
Mm-hmm. Sorry, and illicit always with the nailed it 36.4. That's what it was. We couldn't find it. You have a hookup or know where we can find it, let me know. Shoot me a message. Because I couldn't get through either our distributor right now. That's been what's killing me actually right now is we're slow distributors to get accounts set up. Like some have been surprisingly fast, but there's like just the others are just dragging and it's killing me. Like I have orders with them to place ready to go. Like I got special orders ready to go. I just need you to open me and like, don't you like money?
Yeah.
And just can't get them over me fast enough.
Something hit me just recently that I think I told you I kind of switched distributors for my film to a place in California because they have a modern ordering interface. Yep. But then I realized like most of what I like is, and most of what I sell, a lot of it is Kodak. So Kodak's making their film in Rochester. So it's shipping all the way to California. And then I'm waiting for the 4-day shipping back to Ohio. So I finally like started really Googling and I found a place in New Jersey actually. And I haven't quite their website is a little confusing, but then I was Googling about how it works. So it sounds like it works just like the one that I'm buying from. So I just need to figure out how to get in their system. But
where is it or what is the name of it? You remember?
I have it bookmarked on my Mac, not on my PC. So
I guarantee you, Young Dirt Tim was saying some places moved over to here.
Yeah.
Anyway,
so that's the way to go too. Plus, also, when you're dealing with film, it is something that is delicate. So having it bake in the sun on a truck all the way from California doesn't make sense, and all the way out to California when, if it's going from Rochester to New Jersey back here, makes way more sense. So, and also just the shipping time, like. Because you never know what happens. Like a guy came in and bought all my 400 speed color film the other day. And then I'm like, okay, if I put in an order right now, I'm out of 400 speed color film for 5 days. And
oh, wow, yeah.
So it's like a weird thing because I can't carry that much stock because I don't know, because I'm spread thin. I have a little bit of everything because I don't have enough data yet to know what to stock up a lot on, being slow. So anyways, I understand the distributor issues because I'm on my second one and I'm about to switch to my third. So,
Side note, everybody talking about this. Yes, these are all options I found as well. But the problem is this person is putting this like on a beach cruiser.
Not a wolf tooth. Yeah, you're not putting a wolf tooth on there.
So I was like, hey, it's going to be like $50 for this. And
Ben said Thompson makes 36.4, but again, that's out of it.
Yeah. Sorry, I forgot to clarify. I did come across those, but that was certainly not in this person's.
Do you like projects? Like I imagine it's much easier to just do regular maintenance as a bike shop. I always feel bad bringing in my crazy projects when I run out of skill. Oh, did I lose? Oh, there we go.
Do I like projects?
Sorry.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, I'll be honest. Our we're not backed up yet, right? So if I have a 3-week wait list or wait time, I'm probably not thrilled about projects. But right now, I got time to do them. So yes, we have like that Peugeot we were talking about. Like somebody wants to do that. So yeah, that's in the shop while we figure out parts, an estimate for what it'll take to make it happen. I think in the winter, there's 2 people that have come to me with some resto projects that I know are going to be hard. Just because of like the parts that are going to be involved in them. And I have been like this, they're like, oh, no rush. I'm like, good. Because this sounds like a great winter project. Like, let's talk about this at the end of summer and then let's do this then. And just not like have a bike because again, space is a premium for me, so I can't have it sitting around all summer.
Back to photography for a second. Mr. Couch asked, does Kodak have a distributor in Rochester? So you can buy directly from Kodak, but they only sell in giant bulk. So it's way beyond my means because Kodak, like I think I explained this before, is a movie film company. What keeps Kodak in business is directors still actually use Kodak movie film. And so,
I don't think we have about this.
oh yeah, so like yes, there's a lot of people who still want to shoot movies analog and do like huge blockbusters are shot on analog and scanned later and then projected digitally, or even some places will project analog. But either way, us photographers are buying 36 frames. Movie film moves through 24 frames a second. So that is what keeps Kodak in business. And so for direct distribution, they're not dealing with someone on my level. And not because they're jerks, just because it doesn't make sense for them to do that. You know, they have gigantic machines running, you know. They don't cut it down for people like me. They cut it down for people who could then redistribute it. So, yeah.
That makes sense, though.
Yeah, just a scale issue. So,
yeah.
Are you doing any e-bike service? Teresa asked you.
Not the e-bike parts of them, but we have had a few e-bike mountain bikes come through the door. So my neighbor and somebody we ride with are both NICA coaches. So word got through the NICA. For those that don't know, NICA is the basically middle school and high school mountain bike racing, like teams. So anyway, so the word got through them. So we've gotten a few of the adults come through with they were e-bikes, but we didn't do any of the e part of them. We're gonna, especially in New Jersey right now, I'm staying away from e-bikes because of the new law. It's gonna make it complicated. It's gonna make it annoying. We're just not equipped to handle it right now. So we're just gonna sort of back off it a little bit. The person mentioning Q has something on sale. Remember that comment I just made about certain distributors being a real pain in the ass getting set up? There's your answer. Which one I'm talking about? I'd love to place that order, but yeah. Anyway.
3W said half at home is friendly on the wallet. It's so funny because we have a joke at Dirty River because when I was building up my Marin, my goal was to do it myself, and I was doing like the cantilever brakes and all that stuff. And I brought it into Otis, and I was like, it just needs to be buttoned up, you know?
Yeah.
And,
just cabling. I used to bring bike because cabling for me, I don't know why. Still, I need reps at it. Is really all it is. Just to remember the order because like I always like get and then put the ferrule on the wrong way, and then have to redo it. And anyway, so again, I'm not the maiden. I'm not the mechanic.
Yeah.
But I used because I was like, this cabling is gonna take me 3 hours, or I could take to them. They'll be done with it in a half hour for like $50. I'm just gonna do that. So I totally get the half at home thing.
Yeah, and my vintage bikes, I totally like usually that was a conversion, so it needed more. I ended up needing more help, and the joke about it just needing to be buttoned up, Otis was like 2 hours later and a few $100 later. He wasn't just buttoning it up. He was fixing lots of my mistakes. But like when a vintage road bikes, I could do, like I could do those. I could build them from scratch. It's like same thing. The modern stuff, I just don't have the reps on. 11-speed Shimano cable routing on the front derailleur is so weird. And it's like that stuff. It's like I'm just gonna pay to have it done because I just don't. Yeah, I build a friction bike in no time. Like I don't know, just very different.
Sorry, I'm not sure about this. I picked up with the mic.
This spring, I'm not even someone who usually has allergies, and I've been like coughing and
Fix this off so I don't see my ear. Okay, I'm back. I can't promise I'm done.
Yeah.
Nope. All right. Millie, trying to move the microphone away so I'm not sneezing. Everybody.
How far behind are we on the? It just got dropped. No, we're all right.
Oh well, we lost some time.
No, that's what I was asking Dave if it was like way off compared to usual. So no, we're good. Oh, it's actually pretty quick. Yeah.
No, you're like right there. It's just
Yeah.
I don't know if it's my computer or your Wi-Fi or something. A bunch of websites aren't loading.
Oh, huh. Interesting. Yeah. Yeah, it's actually more in real time than it almost ever is. So that's good. I have to Google that damn front derailleur cable routing every time. Yeah. That's one of the things, like, you have a mechanic who worked on trucks forever, and like that's when I talk to Yonda and stuff. He'll like Yonda will always give me shit. He's like, "You have a YouTube channel and you don't know this?" I'm like, "I didn't work in a bike shop for my whole life.
Yeah.
Like I'm a photographer who likes to ride bikes. I'm not even that. I'm a little bit of a tinkerer, but I'm not even that much of a. You know what I mean? That stuff just,
Yeah.
you know, that the way to know that stuff is by doing it for years. Like.
And that's not to say I'm not doing this, right? So I am getting the reps, but it's with somebody sort of over my shoulder to like spot check and do all that stuff. So I'm getting bikes in the stand, and especially the ones where it's not like a customer paying for labor, but like getting the used bikes sort of like back to dialed, because that I for the most part can do those jobs. It's not fixing necessarily, right? If something's broken, that's different. It's a lot of it's cleaning, lubing, and adjusting, and like that I can handle on a 90s and mountain bike. So just doing a lot of that, but yeah, like it's just I'm slow at it, but every time it'll get
Yep, a little better.
need the reps. It's like I got in a bad habit with having a bike shop that this guy used to work at like 2 blocks away from my house. So it's like, well, I could wrap my bars, or I could just pay him $20 to do it and get a ride in before the end of my lunch break. So let's just do that. You know what I mean? So it's one of those things where I can't remember the last time I wrapped my own bars. You know what I mean? So like I'm not gonna do it for paying customer. So, but I'll get there. I'm fully aware. The one thing that is working well though is the marketing and stuff like that, and that's what I'm in charge of. So we're doing good there.
Yeah, you're the businessman, you're the marketer, you hire the guy. Like there's breweries and restaurants where the owner doesn't know how to brew beer.
Right.
They hire the guy who knows how to brew the beer. It's
still like a little bit of like an imposter syndrome though. I'll be very honest. Like that's real, and I will get over it. But it's still there. Of like, sometimes it's like posturing, like I know all this stuff. I'm like, I don't know any of this. Well, there's a guy that comes in too, and it's funny because like he'll be like, "Oh yeah, I was at Mountain Creek and we did this trail, this trail, this trail, this trail," and just like active listening, just like, yeah, yep. Never been to Mountain Creek. I don't know any of these trails. I don't know how hard that one was. Like, yep. Like, yep, that's a trail. That's a trail.
Yeah.
Busting that one out. Yeah, so there's a bit of that type of stuff going on. I'm like, I don't know. I don't do that stuff.
I had a conversation at the Handmade Bike Show right before we rode. A guy who was probably 10 or 15 years older than me came over. He was like, you do a podcast, right? I was like, yeah. And then he knew you and stuff, and so we started chatting. And I don't know how the conversation went there, but I was telling him, like, I'm not the technical guy. I was like, I'm the bike ride guy. I like to ride bikes. That's what my videos are about. I was like, I pointed to my bike. I'm like, I can't tell you what the gear ratios are on my gunner right now. I needed to know that once. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like I needed to, I needed to get it dialed in. And then now that it's right, that information, that's not the way my brain works. I don't need it now. It ejects it. You know what I mean? Like it's not, because I don't need to work on bikes all the time. I don't need to know what it is. The rally, I know it just because it's standard road gearing and we did something kind of creative in the back and that sticks in my head. But if someone right now was like, what's the big ring on the gunner? I cannot remember. I think it's a 42, but it's like, that's not what my videos are about. My rides. I'm not a mechanic. So I don't know. I always find that interesting. And I need so much repetition for my brain to remember stuff, and not being someone who works on bikes, those little things don't stay. Geometry numbers. When Russ talks about those on Pathless Pedals and reviews a bike, if I'm real interested, I'll go over to Bike Insights and put it in, compare it to my bikes to see what it looks like in that moment. But those trail numbers do not stick in my head. Like I have no idea what
Yeah. The specific numbers though, and I understand the concepts of high trail and low trail and like what long
concepts,
do things like that, and what, but like I need the it's high trail, not it's a such and such number trail, right? Like that I can't keep straight.
Yeah, Dylan knows all that stuff. He talks about it with other people in the Discord. They all know that stuff, and I read it and I learn from it. I don't. I'm not the guy who knows all that. You know, I'm impressed by the people who remember all that stuff. So, what's your take on 1980s steel lugged frames? I, I mean, when it comes to the way bikes look, I think that is as cool as it gets. But if we're talking about steel lugged frames, my problem is always tire clearance. So that's mine. I have a whole wall of steel lugged frames that I don't ride anymore. So
As much as I love the Course Classic, I don't have any 80s road bikes like that. So I don't know.
mine are mostly 70s, but there are some 80s in there. But yeah. Yeah, I have the Trek 500, which it's a bike I love, and I've got 4,500 miles on it, and I'm not sure I took it off the wall last year because it's limited to 32. You know,
Yep.
toured across the state on it, all that stuff. So
A regular bike, yeah. Sure.
it's for a regular bike.
NABs,
Yep.
normalized bike. What are we doing this one? NAB. That's an actual conversation that's had multiple times a day.
How much have you had a lot of people, or have you had any people coming in being like they're looking for expensive stuff? Because I know at Dirty River there's been a couple guys who have come in and been like, do you have any Pinarellos? And they're like, because they're like an alt cycling shop through and through. It's like gravel, towpath trail bikes. Like they don't carry, they'll work on anything. They could fix anything, but they don't carry race bikes anymore. They used to carry Cannondales. They don't carry Cannondales anymore. Like, have you had anyone come in yet to be like, they're looking for a $2,000 bike and they're like, what the hell's going on here? Or no?
No, not necessarily. We've had people sort of like, well, are you guys going to carry new bikes? And then I usually am writing my wild in, so I'll mention that I'm hoping to place our initial wild order in the next few days here, but like I'll put in mind, be like, we're wild dealer, we can do that. We've had like our first I hate to say it, but like it's like the person that I specifically built the shop not to cater to come in and like sat there and gave us like just the guy, 70-year-old guy just came off an A group ride and needed to like brag about his bikes and his stuff and like macho out for a minute and like then talked like anyway. So like that person is like, yeah, so what do you guys like? What do you guys just you carry the junk? Or like I'm like, no, like we're gonna like let's do this. Something like this, or like it's more niche, stuff you have never heard of, guy.
Yeah. It's an indie record store.
Yeah,
You wouldn't understand. Yeah.
No, but we've had no, we really haven't had too much of that. I had somebody came in and asked for an SE bike, which we're not doing, but I sent them to somebody that I know that just opened a shop, like how far away that is. But like we have too many hills. Nobody's doing wheelies in our town. So like, I don't know. This guy just came off the golf. It was a guy and his son that we have a golf course up the street from us that had just come from the golf course clearly, and the kid came in and asked if they had SE bikes, and they turned around and left when I said no. So like, that's cool. All right. But no, we haven't had any of that. Just people so you're just doing used. And it's hard to explain. Like, we will build you a bike from a brand if you have a brand you want. Like, I'll buy it retail. I don't care. Like, we will build you a bike for whatever you want, but we're not going to necessarily stock a whole bunch of just random.
Yeah, just have on the floor. Yeah. Yeah, it's those guys who you're talking about. It's so funny because I remember I did it's a big fundraiser here for the Ohio and Erie Canalway Coalition. And I wrote with my buddy Kyle, and Kyle's well connected and knows everyone because of his job. And he's like, gives out grants and all that stuff, so everyone likes him. But the one guy he was like, how many century rides have you done? and asked Kyle. And so Kyle, I remember after we were riding away, like what this guy said doesn't matter because Kyle was like, that question wasn't a question to me. That was a setup. So this guy, I could tell us how many century rides he's ridden, like
Yeah.
the answer we were going to give was of, complete irrelevance,
But to be honest, though, the Wild is a bike that is intriguing to them. They're more confused by it, I think, is interesting because they're like, this is nice, but this is not, like what they think. Like they'll recognize that, oh, this has white hubs, and like, oh, this has these parts. Like, oh, that's an heavy fork. But like then like the mechanical disc brakes always throws them for a huge loop. They're like, mechanical disc brakes are like, why is it you didn't want to do internal routing? I'm like, no. Anyway, so like it leads to some interesting conversations about like, no, this is a bike. These are not flaws. These are choices that I could have done anything I wanted on this bike. These are choices I made because this is how I wanted. Here's why. So
yeah, because I didn't base this based on like accounts on the internet that you think you have to have, like that you have just been sold and you have. Let's ask you, why do you want internal routing? You don't know. You think it's the look that looks cool. You have no idea. Like, you know what I mean? Like those people are the hollowest people that exist because they're trying to keep up with the Joneses. That's all their bikes are. And it's like absolute insanity. Like if you have a reason for it, but when it's just like because it looks clean, get the fuck out of here. Sorry, that's what.
No.
Sorry, those are facts.
There's our scene too, but
For sure. I mean, yeah. Someone asked if I'm drinking beer or koala champagne. This is a masthead freelance IPA. I bought it because I love the name Freelance. I do like Masthead. They're a good brewery in Cleveland, but Freelance IPA definitely, is a great name for me. But Carl just jumped in here. I meant to bring him down here. I will show these, Carl, on the next stream in one of my videos, but Carl gave me at the Handmade Bike Show some new stem caps he's making, but he made them out of classic super balls, like bouncy balls, like rubber bouncy balls. So they still bounce, so you could like bounce them, but then they're like stem caps. They look so sweet. Like
I can't even my brain is breaking trying to visualize this.
So he's inserted the cap into the bouncy ball, like into the super ball. So they're still total spheres. You know what I mean?
No.
You know what a super ball is, right? Are you that much younger than me? Or
yeah. Rubber ball thing.
And he asked what color I wanted. I'm like, the classic color. The classic color was what? Like blue, red, and yellow, like swirled together. And I'm like, yeah, the classic bouncy balls that we grew up with, or they were called super balls. You got them in like the gumball machines and stuff like that back in the day. So.
Yeah, but so is he's just putting a bolt through them, or like?
Well, so you're putting the negative thread, so you could put it onto your, Prestar or Schrader valves.
Oh! I'm sorry.
Did I say stem cap? Yeah, I did say stem cap.
Stem cap.
Valve cap, valve core
Yes.
cap. Yeah, valve caps. Yeah.
Like top cap, like, dude, a bouncy ball. Like,
Sorry. Yeah, that was me.
You got a bouncy ball that was 1/1/8. You could. Oh my god, I'm gonna do that. Holy shit. No, that might not work. What if you just got a bounce like those bouncy balls? Just make sure it was bigger than your sear tube, and you just sunk a really long bolt.
No. No.
Asking for a disaster, but that would be really fun to do. At least maybe for an Instagram thing.
Yeah, trade secrets. Yeah, it's a.
Very cool.
Yeah, he's always coming up with some creative stuff. I was just using his the GoPro mount. It mounts to the walled basket, which is really cool. And I used it when we were filming an interview from the bikes, like starting up the Gravel Badass series again. But it's perfect because I wanted a front-facing camera, but I decided I should ride the bike with the walled because then I could have all my audio equipment and everything just sitting in there and I could see it all. But yeah, other people did get good. Other people, we can edit that in post. Darren was more kind and said I knew what you meant, but yeah, it was good to see Carl out there in Michigan. So
I don't think Carl and I definitely follow each other. I don't think we've ever met though. I could be wrong.
I don't think so. I don't. Yeah.
Um,
Carl said, "Hit me up if you want some for the shop." So
well,
bouncy
Matt,
ball. Yeah.
because don't forget, yeah, very honest, my brain's all over the place.
Yeah.
You
Carl.
want to talk a little
Carl
talk
hit
about before?
hit him up actually. Give him the hard sell because yeah, he's got a lot going on. So.
Fair enough. Do you want to talk a little bit about what we were talking about before? Speaking of bike shops and being jerks, and
Oh yeah. Yeah.
so one of the things we were sort of talking about before is a trend on social media that I don't understand for the life of me, which is like bike shops. And apologies if you work one, or apologies if you make these, but like bike shop accounts that then basically make fun of their customers and then repost that. So there's two different flavors of this. There's the one where it's like, I have a customer's bike in the stand and I'm making fun of it. Or then the other one is like these like skits where they just like have somebody impersonating an annoying customer. But I'm like, who are these for? The first one I can kind of get like who that's for, but the second one I don't. The one where you're making fun of, like, fictionally making fun of a customer. It's like, with especially the more like inside baseball bike shop stuff. There's a couple accounts do it. I won't name them, but like they do it pretty consistently. And I'm always like, what? Like, if I'm your customer, that's not like, oh, you guys are all just making fun of us behind our backs, like after we leave. Like that's not fun. And then if it's my bike in the stand, I'm certainly not thrilled about that. So I don't get that. And I don't know. Somebody tell me what I'm missing.
So I made an analogy that I've been doing with my little shop, and I develop and scan people's film. And I was just thinking of like if I posted someone's pictures on Instagram, or like, look at this idiot who doesn't know how to expose or like frame a shot. Like that just seems like such a weird thing to do for my business, to be like, look at my customer, they're an idiot. Like, you know what I mean? It's like, how is that? And I know you were saying it's like this just for other shops, for other mechanics, or for other people in the know, but how could that be good business or just being a good human being?
Right. Like something effective. Like, and I do know, there are some cases where they're like, hey, can I post this? And just like, so, like I'm going to make fun of it, but like, are you cool with that? Like if it's your friend's bike or you have a good relationship with the customer, right? Like,
Yeah.
And I've had analogies of other things like that and other, like, where that's fine, but like, it doesn't always feel like that's the way that this is going. Maybe I'm
No,
wrong.
and I
Maybe
said I
always
felt,
happen privy to it, Like,
and I said I follow a friend that I've met at like bike shows, and he does this, but he has it on his private, like it's either his friends only. I can't remember if it. I know I looked it up, but it's either his friends.
Our thing, right?
Yeah, it's like the green thing, or it's just like it's his private one. It's not associated with the bike shop, and he probably curates who follows him. He's not doing it for views overall. He's doing it as a FML like type thing, like. This bike sucks. This is annoying. Like, I hate this. And I get the cautionary tale thing, too. Like, don't let your bike go this far in this direction because this could be dangerous and this could be a problem type thing. But there's so much.
To me, you know what I mean? Like, don't come talk to me about this.
Yeah. But a lot of the ones we're talking about are just basically like, look at this idiot. Like, it's like, look at this idiot who brought me their thing that is paying me money and I'm fixing, and now I'm going to berate them on the internet for your humor. Like, right? Is that where?
Essentially, we did have a kid though that is like a 14-year-old kid brought in like his BMX tire that he tried to fix himself. Wheel, sorry, he tried to like fix his own hub and totally broke the wheel. Like over tightened it, cracked piece, like a cracked the race. We were sort of making fun of, like, we were laughing with him, right? Like,
Yeah.
it was a good, it's a good thing. We were like, but like that's one thing. But like then, like, I was trying to imagine, like, what if we then took that wheel and afterwards, like, posted on the internet, and like, can you believe this dumb fucking idiot? And like, that's gonna follow us, right? Like, that kid's never coming in again.
Yeah.
You just ruined the kid's life, like not his life, but like, you know what I mean? Like, you just ruined that kid's like whole concept of like enjoying going to a bike shop. Like,
Yeah.
I don't want to go to a bike shop anymore, they're gonna make fun of me. They're gonna make fun of me for trying to do my own maintenance, right? Like,
Yeah, we used to.
world.
So I worked at that farm market, me and Dave, for like years, and we would some summers like keep a list of the 10 stupidest questions we ever got asked.
Sure, that
We
sounds fun.
never posted them on Instagram. We
You wanted a T-shirt with.
yeah, we wanted to make a T-shirt with them, but we didn't. But I mean, like you got questions like, you know, we would sell green tomatoes once in a while because certain customers want to fry some green tomatoes. We had someone ask, "How do you know when a green tomato is ripe?" So it's like, if it's ripe, it's a red fucking tomato, you know. But like stuff like that, like we got to ask, like, are these pineapples local?
I never thought about that. You're right. That's funny.
But I still
The t-shirt
even
for that would be- Hey, trust me, like I am all about having like inside jokes with your coworkers, right? Like,
inside
that
jokes,
person-
yes.
His first name is the term for that type of guy now for the rest of the life of this shop. That will be referred to. I'm not going to say it. Like that guy's first name, that's our code word for that type of customer.
Oh, yeah.
Him, he's that, right? Like NAB, right? I love a good inside joke or like shorthand or just like the shit that comes with working at a fun place. I feel like that's what makes for good workplaces, right? It's like these jokes. But like it has to be so coded, right? Like you can't say it in front of like
No, like again, like I said, I just privileged because it's my friends. I walk into the back and I look at the bikes, and there's sometimes where we're like, "What the hell is that?" Like, or why is someone putting money into that? Like, but again, if they agreed to do it, they're not going to put that on the internet. They're not going to be like, "Man, shoot yourself in the face," kind of like content. Like I just can't understand. Like you're doing so well that you feel like you could make fun of. And a lot of times too, the thing that I've seen happening is this is like a lot of times it's with the lower end customer. Like, you know what I mean? So you're really making fun of someone who does not.
you're punching down for sure.
Yeah, you're punching down. Yeah, you're punching down. Like,
Yep. And then they wonder why they like the bike industry is doing terribly. Like, no, you're just assholes. Not, I know that's not the only. I'm hyperbole, but like, yeah,
Brad just posted this. Some people use their YouTube channel to berate people whose friends were slow to react after a bike crash. I put him in the thumbnail going down, and I just titled the video "Funny Brad Crashes." That's different. That's it. You're my friend. That's why I could get away with that. You weren't a stranger. If you were a stranger, that would have been mean. Hey, you're my friend. It was still mean, but it's funny. So, I don't know how to recover from that comment, but
Oh,
should we? What time is it? 10:23. Should we talk about the bike rack thing at this point in the night?
yeah, sure. That's fine. Can we actually here? Actually, I don't know how to do it. I was gonna say put up a poll.
Oh,
Say
yeah.
if we do say the term bike rack, what does that mean to you?
So give three. I think three options, right? We got three options on that, right?
Right.
Like
It
car
could
bike,
be a car bike rack
a parking bike rack. Would you call that a parking bike rack?
for the sake of that, like a thing where you would park your bike into like when you're going into a store,
Or something that goes
Or-
on your bike?
like a rack or a tombstone rack or
Could you make
yeah, I
that
don't know
poll,
how-
Dave? Does that make sense?
like what does that word mean to you?
Yeah, the word bike. So when we were saying bike racks are bullshit, when you initially texted me this, I watch a podcast that's about technology.
The term bike rack is bullshit.
Yeah, the term bike rack is bullshit. I do believe one of these three is actually bullshit most of the time, which is the
We can
parking bike rack. Yeah.
A little bit. Because that is what I have been searching for, but having to wade through all those other types because apparently thousands.
Because you're typing in
100,000
bike rack. Yeah.
You couldn't come up with three different fucking terms for this thing.
I watched this tech. Oh, go ahead.
Those.
I watched this tech podcast. It's some of you guys might know it. The main YouTube channel is MKBHD, Marquise Brownlee. But he has a podcast called Waveform, and like the last month they have a first segment that's called did they even test this? And they talk about some piece of tech or some piece of software where it's like a button is covered up, you can't touch it because it's the UI is shitty. And so my whole thing is like when I roll up to a bike rack, I'm like, did they even test this? Has anyone ever tried to lock? Did the guy who designed this ever try to lock more than 3 bikes to this thing at the same time? Like so many breweries we go to have a cool looking one. You're like, how you? It's like you're playing Tetris. You're like, how do I lock my bike to this piece of shit? Like like
it's the wrong bike parking rack for the orientation you're going to put it in. Like the ones that have 2 and then a big space and then 2 and then a big, those are designed so that you can put them like this, right? So you can't put it up against the wall because now you can only put 3 bikes on a 6 bike rack, right? Like get the right tool for the right.
Or the low ones that your front wheel goes in, but and again, I guess this is changing because most things are through axle. But in the era of quick release, you don't just lock your front wheel to a bike rack because everybody knows that you pull one lever and you could steal the bike without the front wheel. Like, I mean, I hate that. Like, as someone who still rides, one of my main bikes is quick release. I still look at those and I'm like, that's not a safe option for me. So I put my bike sideways, block the entire rack, and lock through the top bar of this stupid bike,
Yeah, it's been very frustrating because I don't have a professional bike parking solution in the shop, so we're cobbling together just a bunch of bike racks for the moment until we have the stuff set up. But I was like, they're usually not very expensive, and so we've just been like getting whatever we can, making it work. And we as of yesterday, like all the bikes have a home. They all have something they're standing on. It's great. For a while, we were just lining them up back wheel against the wall. I'm like, we can't do this because it's some nicer bikes, and I'm like, I can't do this to them. We have a solution. It's just a matter of like we need time to get it up, and we just get it up on the wall, and we haven't. Anyway.
So what did wait, did I get that right? Zev Robbins said, rack depends on context. Well, yeah, I think it does, but it's the same word. Bike rack outside for lockup, bike rack on back of vehicle for transport, bike rack inside for off the floor. Yeah, it does depend on context, but like you said, you're trying to look up, you want to buy a bike rack.
Right.
That doesn't narrow it. Yeah. Yeah, and Sam said street signs are more effective bike racks. That's true. I've literally like looked at a bike rack and it's been like, yeah, there's a utility pole here that's going to work way better for my purposes. But
so what could a better term? Let's rename. If we could rename these products.
Yeah, I do think that when people are talking about racks for your bike, they just say racks. That doesn't help you on the internet. But in conversation, I do think that we usually say like, I need a rack, and everyone knows that then you're just talking about for your bike. But that doesn't help the broader context. So,
well, and again, how many hundreds of thousands of words do we have in the English language? 2 more? Can we just bust out the thesaurus for the word rack and just like arbitrarily pick 2 other synonyms? Because it would be more helpful than what we got.
Funny, like, Brad just said.
One thing is more of a bike carrier, right?
Did you read this that Brad just wrote? I picture a bike with boobs.
All right, there are 4. This could mean. Or is it a person with boobs that look like a bike?
Oh, she's got a bike rack.
I think I only topped that on, so that one didn't come across for me.
I really wanted to make at some point in my life this phrase happen. Like, people are like, "Oh, she's got nice legs or whatever." I wanted like the coded thing to be like, "Check out the wheels on that bicycle." This is all way past. This would have to be 50 years ago, but still. I still think it sounds funny.
Gentleman's legs.
It could be for, it's for anyone with good legs. Yeah, it doesn't have to be 650 boobs. Pudgy just said abort.
All right, we got a little bit more mileage out of this.
Went in a completely different
There's no way we're
direction.
going to be able to get more than 5 minutes on this.
So
my
yeah,
cheeks are-
you're right though. What would be the car rack? I think you just parking rack, like, and then bike rack could stick to just being like something you put on a bike, right?
Yeah. Parking
No?
rack.
A bike rack is where you park your bike.
It's
A
a little
bike rack
because
is where you
they-
park your bike.
That's a bike rack.
Think about marketplace, right? So like that's the context of where I'm trying to find these things, right? So like or Craigslist, if you will. Like parking rack, that's not going to get you any closer.
No,
That's
locking
Parking
rack.
what?
Locking rack. You googling locking rack to see what comes up? It's gonna be like some kind of.
I do think though the car one should be carrier because that is the
Bike
action
carrier.
that's that for
I'm
carrying.
sure the British already call it that, right? A bike carrier. I can't do accents. I apologize already.
A lorry,
They already have.
lorry-
Yeah.
lorry bob. I don't know.
That's got Bob. It's got Bob in it somewhere. Oh, the old bike bobber.
Sure, bike bob. Like, come up with come on, better name.
A boot. They
Um,
use boot a lot. Like, that's what they call it,
display-
trunk.
Yeah, I could, but again though, like bike display rack, that I think comes up. But the problem is they're like, yes, the person said bike display rack. Unfortunately, a lot. How many bicycle shops are there out there that have bike display racks? So unfortunately, that's not coming up for me in
Yeah.
this case. But that would be what that would be called. Yeah. Rack for my car, rack for my bike. Yeah, but if you say, but see, that's the thing. When you're sitting in a bike shop, that context makes sense. But Google rack for my car,
Yeah.
you have boobs. You're not going
A rack for my car. That's a Porsche 911 and some busty woman. Yeah.
You're not getting
By corral.
bike rack to lock to. Like, okay,
Corral's a
These
whole
are-
thing already. Yeah. Because even at bike events, they have like where you corral your bikes. So that's already a different thing. Yeah.
So Google
yeah, I would say
recommended
bike corral is
searches-
bike corral is like mass like rack.
What's that?
Google recommended searches bike rack 4. and
Bike
then-
rack 4. That's
Okay.
where you have to search it on.
That's what everybody else is searching.
That's kind of a lame answer though.
Yeah.
Thank
Yeah,
you,
we're
Dave though.
yeah. Now we're talking about tits. That's what you got.
That's a good point. Ceres does make both those products. So what is Ceres? How do they differentiate on their website?
Oh yeah, let's see. Yeah. Ah, man, I went off on a Sarah's rant when I made a video when I was a little buzzed over the winter.
I did it on the podcast.
Yeah, we did too.
I think
Yeah.
that Wahoo, I think. Pitch rack, but that's not always.
Yeah, but that's a specific kind of bike rack. A car bike rack. That's a
okay. So
specific.
they've put it into bike storage. Bike storage being the bike rack, the bike parking rack, bike rack for parking.
Bike rack for
store.
parking.
I guess that works. And then the other one is just regular bike racks for meaning the bike carrier, and then bike rack would no. Then then what are we calling the Portor rack?
Yeah. I think we just got ourselves in. It's like gravel bike and mountain bike. They're terrible terms that we're stuck with. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't, you know.
You know, I made a little meme when I was doing the Metallica rep shirt that nobody like really, I feel like, appreciated as much as I should have. I want to reiterate it here because it's some of my best work, to be honest, and it just was underappreciated. But I made a post that was James Hetfield's face put onto different bike riders, and it was James Hetfield, James Het Gravel, James Het and the person that James Hetfield was obviously some like doing cross or whatever. It really did not get the amount of likes it deserved.
Yeah.
That whole run, I think I had a lot of good memes that just did not go over well. The give me fuel, give me fire, give me that was a whole like thing, like the gibberish that he says that give me fuel. It's like give me noon, give me goo, give me stretcher and shoe. Nobody got that one. There's an interview with somebody's interviewing James. They're like, "Is Lars the best drummer in the world?" And James responds with, "Lars isn't even the best drummer in Metallica." And I believe I was really ragging on my Surly Disc Trucker at the time, so I think it was like, "Is Surly Disc Trucker the best bike in the world?" I was like, "Surly Disc Trucker isn't even the best trucker in Surly." Go back and find those. Those were good. Share 'em.
Maybe they just sound better spoken. This is like maybe you should do audiobooks.
or a audience of one. A semi-buzzed Tim Fitzwater is the only audience for
Yeah,
that.
yeah. That's possible. And I'm fully buzzed.
Somebody asking again if I'm wearing a Foundation shirt. Yep. Love Foundation. I love Foundation. Morrison's going reclaiming my edge at the beginning of the year because now I don't have to feel like a poser. Foundation is a straight edge band from Atlanta, Georgia.
Oh, that makes sense because I had no idea. I assumed it was music that I just didn't know, but yeah.
Yeah, sort of went out. Seinfeld went out on top back in like 2015. They just did some reunion shows a few years ago, but they were hitters.
I didn't know that you were like going so far down the edge like that you're going to start wearing like straight edge shirts on the street.
I'm like really trying to find like Earth Crisis Destroy the Machine shit.
Yeah, that's.
I'm just gonna do the Earth Christ wrenches on my neck, like that's it, I think. And,
X's on your hands. You're gonna do the X's on your hand next episode, like.
We were talking about like somebody was like, "Oh, I used to be straight." I'm like, at one point we were all straight.
Yeah. I mean, I was born straight edge. I was
Everybody
literally born straight edge. Yeah.
Like, claiming you used to be straight edge is kind of like not really something worth saying.
Yeah. Yeah. At one point, I never ate any meat. I was a pescatarian. I was born a pescatarian.
You know what though? I will say it has not changed. My personal not consuming that stuff has not changed necessarily the makeup parties I said because we were still doing the liquor store climb to the liquor store. I just get an iced tea, and we will still do rides at the brewery. I'll just hang out so it has not changed the fun party aspect of party size cycling since
No.
I was like, what am I gonna do when we drive to the liquor store?
Like I said, I hung out spent all Saturday with two sober people that just don't care. We don't drink, and it doesn't matter to any of us. And they go to breweries with me if that's where I want to go, as long as there's food they want to eat. And same every Wednesday, I ride with a dude who doesn't drink, and he never realized that breweries are cool places because he was also before he quit drinking, he was also gluten free, so he never drank beer anyways. And then he now loves breweries because we always go there. He's like, oh, they have the best food, and these places are usually really nice, And it's like, yeah, just don't be a dick about anything, no matter what you do in life. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So.
No, I'm gonna go hardline. I'm gonna go militant straight edge.
Yeah, that's Earth Crisis. Yeah, right.
Earth Crisis wasn't quite hardline. There was but they started the thing that morphed into hardline. Because hardline as a whole, that's a whole rabbit hole to go down to because that had against abortion and stuff like that, and really some other not cool takes. We're not into, but it sort of sprung off of the extremism of straight edge, kept going further and further and further. Anyway.
Well, me and my buddy Pat, who lives in Connecticut now. Actually, on our first Nutmeg, we did a tour and stopped at his house. But me and him were in anti-racist action in college. I mean, being in it means you just went to the meetings, which is what kind of became Antifa or whatever. But there was a bunch of straight edge kids in there that were super serious, and this is the late '90s, and it was like they were doing like all that. So we one time before we went to one of the meetings put zeros on her, like drew like circles on her hands, and like
Pretty good.
so we like had our hands kind of like not intentional, but like just visible. And someone was like, "What's with those?" And we're like, "Oh, so we could all play tic tac toe together." Man,
That's good.
yeah. That's probably
That does have 3 songs called Devotion.
who was the Minor Threat? Are they the original straight edge band? Is Minor Threat the original straight edge? Kind of, yeah.
They are credited with being the original straight edge band.
Yeah, they were like against sex too, right?
Sex is Conquest.
Yeah. What if you're, man? That's so that is so sexist to say that. You know what I mean? Like, most of my relationships, I've been the one who's been conquested. That's not a flex. It sounded like a flex, but it wasn't meant to be. I'm just weird. I'm awkward and weird. So yeah.
It is fun as a side note though to be able to like, I obviously working from home, or I could listen to whatever I wanted while I was working, but like it's kind of fun to be back in an environment where then like I get to exert my musical taste on others.
Yes.
I control the stereo. So, we were listening to the new Frozen Soul, and some old dude came in and was like, what are you guys doing in here? Rocking out, man. Like, what's up? I will say though, if there are more than 2 groups of people talking in the shop and there's music, it gets insane because it's a fairly small space. It gets too much. I have to turn the music off. I've had a couple times where I'm like, hold on, and I'm like, we're just shouting in here.
You don't just turn it down? Because I leave it going in the store because I feel like there's that app, especially because a lot of mine is one-on-one, so it's like I like the music, but when someone walks in the door, I definitely hit the slider down right away as they walk in. But
well, you're a nicer person than me.
My shop, my music.
I'm creating an atmosphere.
Yeah. Oh, that's the line. Garden said, "Don't drink, don't smoke, don't." Yeah, fuck.
Yep.
That's what I remember from all back in the day. Anyways.
Okay. Makes sense. Oh, people are still going on Hitch versus Roof Rack and Bike Rack. All right, we got more mileage out of that than I thought.
Yeah, Hitch. I've always been, so Brian Yellowbird, we rode on Friday as he was heading up to the bike show, and he was Roof Rack, and I always have felt like there must be a reason to use a roof rack, but everything about a roof rack seems like a pain in the ass. Like, this goes side tangent on this, but I've never understood the roof rack for bikes. And when we grew up, my parents used a roof rack, so our bikes were all on top of the car. But it seems like...
That makes sense.
Wait, say that
because
again?
On a sedan, it makes sense because you would have to put a hitch on, and a lot of the sedans can't do the 2-inch or whatever the
but I've always used this, like the cheap ones that like the Ceres that just goes on the back, like the tailgate or the bumper, and it works for everything. And then your bike's accessible, and it's like simple, and it's not way up there, and you don't need to worry about going through a drive-through or whatever it may be. Or
it's been a while since I've had a bike not had like a Thule rack, but yeah, I guess I always was nervous of those because I always felt like they were gonna go flying off because I think rely too heavily on you making no mistakes.
Yeah.
Like mistake can be pretty detrimental to those systems. So I never liked them.
And they're also not aero. I mean, like that on a long drive, that is going to affect your gas mileage, and it's going to get smashed with tons of bugs. And any bad weather is going to be twice as bad on your bike up there. Roof racks are not. I've never understood the roof rack. So the benefit of the roof rack. So maybe for people who care about cars. I'm not someone who cares. For the record, I'm not someone who cares about cars. Like my car, I don't care about it. So I do think roof racks, big thing is that nothing is really like once you install it, like is really putting a lot of wear and tear or pressure on your paint jobs or whatever, or pulling on the back of your trunk or you're resting on your bumper. But yeah, I do not care about a car at all beyond the idea of like keeping it clean and functional. But yeah.
With those ones that you're talking about, you have to set them up and take them off every time.
Yeah.
Or you can't use your trunk or your lift gate. So I think that's
the
true.
benefit
of the roof rack is that if you don't have a hitch, you don't have to take it on and off every time. I mean, obviously the hitch mounted ones are the best for all intents and purposes.
Yeah, Dylan has one of those that like has the swing. It's one of those machined aluminum ones that are like super expensive and really one up. Is it one up? Yeah, but he also has like. It can fold down or it could swing way out away from the tailgate. It's amazing, but that's like a piece of engineering that's like more expensive than my car. So,
What else was that expensive? Huh.
I think that's like a $2,600 rack. Yeah.
Whoa, dang. Okay. Not
Or
necessary.
bike rack. Yeah.
Just get the right again.
But he doesn't fly, so he's someone who drives everywhere he goes, and he drives to mountain bike trails, and he loves mountain biking.
Then to Orange Blossom Gravel, I sympathize, but
Yeah.
like you get the tool rack that's $500 and it jerks just as well. In my opinion.
My other thing is so for me, I guess my perspective is warped because 95% of my rides are from my front door. I rarely put my bike on my car, and if I'm solo, my Matrix seat folds down, and if I don't need anyone else, my bike fits into the car. So if I travel solo with my car, I don't use a bike rack. I put it inside without even taking the wheels off. So
yeah.
So yeah, I'm not.
For the record, both. I have both the platform rear rack, and I have the two roof racks because of the tandem. One was they're actually both tandem roof racks because that was the only way to really get the tandem without crazy other options. But anyway, but totally messed up, and there's like one piece of broken plastic on it, and I wrote in about it. If they could replace that piece, like we don't have that piece, we're sending you on to the rack. So I have a second rack, and if you don't put the tail piece on, they're just regular roof racks. So I have two roof racks and the two out the back. So like when we went down to Orange Blossom, we put the tandem. We had Tall Tim, not you, Tall Tim, but
Yeah.
Tim Burke, his Riv, and then Miggy and I wanted to bring bikes so that we didn't have to ride the tandem the whole time. So we each brought a bike as well. So we had and three, and we drove down to Florida like that, and it was glorious. But the ones I don't like is I think it was like the Apex 4. And it was the one where it's like fit 4 bikes on like a hanging thing, and then it would swing out of the way. It was one of the worst designed products ever because what they didn't take into account is that once you have all that weight on there, you couldn't get there's a hinge thing that unlocked the hinge to be able to swing it out. You couldn't do that with that much weight on it once you had a couple bikes on it. So you'd have to have like a second person like hold it up to unweight the hinge so you could hit the button, and then it was just completely impractical. So,
That's why the one-ups are so expensive, because I watched Dylan like pull that pin out, swing it to the side. Everything we did over the weekend, like when he wanted to lock it, and obviously I could tell he's more used to being paranoid about bikes being from Columbus because we go to the coffee shop in Chelsea and he would like lock all the bikes up, and I'm like, there's no threat here, like, but that's like, I'm like, okay, that's bigger city thinking, like that's not the thinking that
I had like a couple locks at the shop. I'm like, I know I'm going to close the shop with these locks still in there because nobody locks their bike in high bridge.
Yeah.
but I in my opinion, the platform bike car rack is better in every way, shape, and form. It doesn't touch your paint. It doesn't sway into it, like, because that was always the thing, is like they would knock into each other the whole time. And then the one that I have, you just like have to pull a handle and you could drop it down so you can still get into your lift.
That's what Aaron's does. Oh wait, we got a super chat.
At Darren44312 super chatted $10. Hate him. Love your content. Tell Edmund I said PS.
It's a tell Edmund I said PS. Thanks, Darren. Yeah, he's right here. He went away for a while and he's back. So yeah, I do think that drop down so you could still like lift, like Aaron's Subaru. She has one. She had the 3-man and then she had the 4-person extension. She ended up getting rid of the extension because she just hated having 4 bikes on the back. That was like overwhelming and a lot. But yeah, with the 2 or the 3, it's like they're just so convenient. Like you said, they're not. Yeah. If you have a hitch, that's the way to go, I think. And the bikes feel the most secure.
Yes, for sure. And the 4 is annoying because it obstructs your view out the back, in my experience. Where the 2 doesn't, if you have an SUV type thing. And then, so that's what I'm saying. So like with the 2 roof racks, I can get 4 bikes on the car without having to obstruct anything. So that's been a good sign. I look like a crazy person though, because I have all this stuff. And then because when the bikes are up there, it whistles. So I have to get this Thule wind fairing. So I have like 5 Thule products all strapped to my car. And so that's how everybody in town knows me. It's like, oh, it's so crazy. So, yeah, on a Volvo, so like we're very Swedish over here.
So it sounds like whistle tips is what you're saying.
I got the woo woo.
I'm so glad you got that reference. That would have been a horrible. Whistle tips go woo woo.
Love that video. I can imagine, like, there's been times where I had to test I've always told people, like, oh, you don't have to like your bike up. After I got the Wild, I was like, do I really believe this?
Oh yeah.
And I do. I still I will leave the Wild on my porch, like, without any issue. We're pretty nice.
It definitely depends on where I mean, like, the whole locking bike thing is so specific, and people have lost bikes in situations where you never thought they would. So yeah, that's why I always carry what we call the honesty lock. That tiny little cable thing that just keeps someone from walking away. It's not going to stop a bike thief in any shape or form. But
like, the thing, you can do whatever you want there. That lockpicking lawyer guy will show you. It's like anything can be picked. Anything can be by the most skilled person.
Yeah. But yeah, when I'm in small towns and stuff like that, or when we're touring, like I said, we just lock our bikes together. We're like, the amount of effort it would take to mess with these, because people are always like, what do you do at the campsite? And I'm like, most of the time we just lean them up against the picnic table. But if it is somewhere where we're a little nervous, we just lock 2 or 3 of them together. It's just. Yeah.
I do like that, like, Kryptonite has that long, like, kind of braided cable with the 2 loops on it. I feel like that's an easy enough thing to keep, and then you one lock and lock up a shit ton of stuff.
And also, we just not leaving your bike that far out of sight. Like, if I'm going to work at the university, I'll ride a cheaper bike like my single speed, but I'll just throw my heavier duty lock in the bag and hope for the best. But yeah, it's like, in general, it's like, how far out of sight do you need your bike to be if you're just doing casual stuff? If I'm going to, like, have a couple beers or dinner, like, sit on the patio, sit in the window, put the bike where it's visible. That's the best deterrent, is look at your bike. So
yeah.
It's almost.
I can imagine how that would suck to have a bike still. Like,
my buddy just got Brian, was just messaging about coming out to some of your rides. He locked his up outside the hospital in New York.
Yeah, fuck.
He said in his head he was thinking like a hospital is a safe place, and then after it got stolen, like, they told him, they're like, people get their like motorcycles stolen from here, and he was like, he knew it wasn't over. He was like, that was stupid as hell. But I was trying not to be mean about it. Like, I was trying to be like, Ryan, you locked your bike outside a New York City hospital and went in for 2 hours. Like, yeah, but
Ah, bummer. Yeah.
yeah, that sucks. But it sucks no matter what. I mean,
Yeah, I mean, New York is that's a place I don't fuck around. Like if we go to New York, there's no like, oh, it'll be okay. But like, no, you lock it up.
never be okay. We
Never.
we would
It'll never be.
we're sitting at a bar where the eyes on the bike, and we've also made a complete spider web of locks, even with our eyes on the bike. New York City is a different, yeah, it's a different.
Well, so even like Trenton, I go down and volunteer at the co-op there. The first time I was there, I brought a bike because they go for a little ride afterwards. And there's a bike rack out front of the co-op, and it's kind of like in a like semi-private area. There's like a fence, but it's open to anybody, right? But it's like I just put my bike in the rack and walked in, and somebody's like, "Whose bike is this?" I go, "It's mine." And they're like, "Get a lock on it or get it inside. It'll be gone in a second." Like, oh, like at the co-op, they're like, especially here because people are here looking for bikes.
Yeah, that's what they're here for.
That's what they're here for. They're going, even if it's not like it might not even be malicious. They're just gonna be like, "Oh, here's a free bike."
I'll take this one. Yeah.
Yeah. Yo, hold on. Sorry, is the person that's Thrill House in the thing? Did you run the Thrill House Instagram account, the bike meme, the Simpsons biking meme account? If you are, I have your hat.
If you are, I have your hat.
Well, no, like I like bought your hat a long time ago.
Oh, I thought you like they left it somewhere. You were holding on to it.
Sorry, no. But no, if it's who I think it is, it's a Simpsons themed bike meme account. It's great.
I'll have to look that up. Oh, Thrill House, like Millhouse. Yeah.
Yeah. Because I believe it's what he like types into like a high score thing or some video game thing. If I recall, is the what it's from. Sorry, got distracted.
No, you're good. It's almost 11. We might as well.
No, we need to stay on until this Thrill House person answers me.
Yeah, no, we do. That's where we're. What is their picture? Is it? It's not a Simpsons picture in their profile.
I think you were there the year where somebody thought that a bunch of bikes got stolen at Nutmeg. Were you there for that?
Yeah, that was at Cold Spring, right?
Yes, yeah. It was at the farm, right? But all of a sudden, I was like, "There's a bunch of bikes missing. Somebody stole a bunch of bikes." We figured it out, and then it was like, "Oh, I still don't understand that one. Like, their friends took them for a test ride. Like,
Yeah.
And if they're that good of a friend, wouldn't they have already test ridden the bike? Like, why did they wait until Nutmeg to do that? That made no sense.
No, yeah.
Okay. It's not him.
Not
Sorry.
that Thrill House. Yeah.
I'm sure you're a cool person anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, but you could be cooler.
Cool. I don't even know if that account's still active. I think I had followed it at some point. At some point, it became not good. But I can say that because he's not here. Huh?
Yeah. Yeah. Jump the shark. Okay. Jump.
We can end the live stream whenever you want.
No, let's keep talking about Thrill House some more. Yeah, let's wrap it up. Yeah, it's 11 o'clock, so you got a bike shop to run.
Not tomorrow. Close Tuesday, Wednesday. Woo-hoo.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I love that. I do love that strategy. But
from his house, so.
Yeah, I knowing you, it's like, oh yeah, I bet you're not working at all on.
Yeah, no, I was working right until I came up here, and I'm gonna go back downstairs and start doing some graphic design.
Nice. All right, guys. Thanks everyone for chatting. This was really fun. So yeah, we'll see you in a couple weeks.
Later.
Peace.
Okay, bye.
All right.
Okay,
Yeah.
this time.
Fitzwater photo.
Holiday,
You catch the